Hello and welcome back to the Only One Formula YouTube channel. Today we are discussing Adrian Newey, who he is, why he's so important, and the news that has rocked the Formula One world this week. It's been reported this week that Adrian Newey wants to leave Red Bull. I think within the Formula One world, it has come as somewhat of a surprise this week for him to say that. I think the home of Red Bull has been a place that Adrian Newey has found solace, and I think we all thought he was happy there, but it turns out not quite exactly what we thought. So to understand the importance and the significance of this, we're going to look and see who Adrian Newey is and what makes him so important to Red Bull Racing and the Formula One world itself. So to do that, we're going to have a brief look over his career and then discuss the impact of what he does next. So Adrian Newey's first Formula One experience was 1988 for a team called March F1, who later transitioned into the Leighton House Formula One team. He did 2 years within the team and progressed into technical director, but leading into sort of 1990 approximately, he was actually sacked from the team, which will probably come as somewhat of a surprise to most of you. But a decline in results saw the end of Adrian Newey in Leighton House Formula One. Newey later said, "I was fired, but I'd already made up my mind I was going, because once a team gets run by an accountant, it's time to move. Your self-confidence does suffer, but Williams had approached me." Technical director Patrick Head at Williams took the opportunity to grab Newey as soon as he possibly could, and Williams at the time was the powerhouse of Formula One with a much bigger budget, much bigger resources, so they grabbed a hold of Newey as quickly as they possibly could in the 1990 season. However, he wasn't able to really have an impact on the 1991 car due to finishing out at Leighton House. So the Adrian Newey designs didn't really muster into anything until 1992, when Nigel Mansell took the world title with an Adrian Newey designed car. 93 saw Prost do the same, and 94 was a more troubled year. The banning of electronic suspension left Williams in a difficult spot, and Senna found it difficult to get to grips with the car. And I'm sure you're all aware of what happened in 1994 with Ayrton Senna. So the tragic loss of life there was very, very upsetting. 95, a sort of quiet year for the team. 96 saw Damon Hill take the world title, again with an Adrian Newey designed car. And 96 brought a close to Adrian Newey's Williams career. His career at Williams ended with his cars winning 59 race victories, 78 pole positions, and 60 fastest laps from the 114 races that Williams competed in over the period. So McLaren was the next hunting ground for Adrian Newey from 1997 to 2005. However, he didn't really see great, fantastic results until 98 and 99, when he took double world drivers' titles with Mika Hakkinen, and one of those years was also a Constructors' World Championship. But the relationship at McLaren was fractured. It wasn't quite right. Adrian had sort of said that it wasn't for him, and by 2005, he was on the move and wanted to get something different. So that led to what we now know is, from 2006, Red Bull Racing. I don't really know if we need to say much more about what's happened since 2006 with Red Bull Racing. I mean, 4 world titles for Sebastian Vettel, 2010, 11, 12 and 13, including the Constructors' Championship each of those years. We've also seen Max take the driver's title in 21. 22 was a double championship. 23 is a double championship. And let's be honest, with the way that Max Verstappen is driving his car now and the way that the car behaves, Red Bull are probably going to have a double championship again in 2024. And who knows, with the designs that are in place and with the car, what it's doing, will that carry over and be 2025? And we don't see any change in the pecking order until the regulations change. So Adrian's had massive success, and it looked like he'd found a home within Red Bull Racing. were somewhere he was content. Adrian Newey's career brings 200 race victories. Now, that's nearly 20% of all Formula One races since the Formula One World Championship was started in 1950. So when you try and understand that, you try and put that into perspective, it's ridiculous. He's also got 12 constructors championships and 13 drivers titles to his, I would say, to his name, but it's more to his designs. So I think probably another one of each due in 2024, as previously mentioned. But I think with these stats alone, I think it's hard to argue that that he is probably and is the greatest mind who has ever worked in Formula One. By going over Adrian Newey's career, I think it sort of explains itself that why he's so important. So Formula One is a world where a tenth of a second makes a massive difference to where you're finishing position. So for a man who is so intelligent and so clever when it comes to designing these cars, I think whoever has Adrian Newey wins the races, wins the world titles. And that's what makes him so significant. And this news so important that Red Bull have him, he was content, and they've had massive, massive success with him. But now he's not quite happy. And is he looking for a new home, or is he at 65 years old? Is he hanging up his notepad and pen and going to go and do his own thing? Now on to the impact of the sport and the impact for Red Bull Racing. So why is he going? So the rumours are that the power struggle between the Dutch and the Thai side of Red Bull Racing have caused some form of upset for Adrian Newey. Again, going back to the Leighton House days, he didn't like that there was an accountant taking over the team and the team wasn't being run correctly. So he clearly doesn't like internal politics, and there's a lot of that going on behind the scenes within Red Bull. And yeah, I think that he just doesn't like that. Also, there's been rumours that the allegations made against Christian Horner with a female employee and the handling of this case and how things are going. Again, he doesn't sort of like these headlines being made against a team that he works for and things like that. So I think just the upset about the amount of media attention that Red Bull are receiving at the moment is just not for him. He seems to be the kind of character that likes to go under the radar, do what he's doing, and win races. I don't think he likes big headlines. You can see it from interviews. He's never the most brash and outspoken person. He's quite reserved and quite stays within himself. So I think a lot of media attention, internal politics, is just not for him when it comes to Red Bull. So I think it's possibly caused a bit of upset, and it's caused him to potentially look for other alternatives. The next big question is, where could he go? Well, realistically, Adrian Newey, he could go wherever he wants to go. Any one of the Formula One teams would grab Adrian Newey with both hands, given the opportunity. But the ultimate question is, who can afford Adrian Newey? Realistically, he's not going to come and work for your team for free, and he demands the biggest paycheck, realistically. He's paid more than a lot of the drivers on the grid, to put it that way. So the biggest rumour ongoing at the moment is that he is going to go to Ferrari. So he was spotted at an airport in Bologna. A recent interview, he said that he would always love to have worked for the Scarlet team. So it kind of adds up together. In the same interview, he was quizzed on that he never worked with Lewis Hamilton, arguably the greatest of all time. So I think he said he would have loved to, but this would then give him a tick in both boxes, working for Lewis and Ferrari. But is that 2025 when Lewis starts there, or would that be 2026, depending on the exit period from Red Bull Racing? So that's the biggest rumour at the moment, that he's going to Ferrari. But there's also strong rumours that he is going to go to Aston Martin. So Aramco, the Saudi Arabian oil company, they've put a large cash offer forward with Aston Martin to have Adrian Newey on board. So it would be a massive, massive plus for Aston Martin to get Adrian Newey. Obviously, their project is coming on strong. They have made some big progress in the new factory and things like that. So they would grab him with both hands, given it. And as we all know, that Lawrence Stroll has really deep pockets, so he could work with Aramco and he could get Adrian Newey if money is the question. But or is it simply that Adrian Newey just wants to, at 65 years old, he wants to pack his bags and ride off into retirement? And if he does, let's let him do that. He's certainly earned a comfortable retirement, so let's let him do it if that's what he wants to do. Leave him alone at that point. Now, where does it leave Red Bull if Adrian Newey does go? So Christian Horner said recently that no one in the team is irreplaceable. So obviously that includes Adrian Newey as well. I don't think he expected Adrian Newey to be one of the people that he was referring to within that statement. So it leaves Red Bull with a massive hole in their design team, and we know that Pierre Waché is Adrian Newey's right-hand man, and I'm assuming that Pierre Waché would take the step up to Adrian's job from there on. They have the facilities, they have the team around them to carry on with Adrian's work, but do we see a decline in Red Bull's performance over the next few years without Adrian Newey? Because the man he's obviously a genius, so do Red Bull struggle without him? Also, it's been rumoured that could Max Verstappen follow Adrian Newey? So if Adrian Newey disappears off to... So he's not going to follow Adrian Newey to Ferrari, I would assume, because I don't imagine... Well, Ferrari have Leclerc on for a long-term contract, and they're obviously getting Lewis to join them, but so I can't see who would be removed at Ferrari driver-wise to accommodate Max. But potentially, as Adrian Newey, if he went to Aston Martin, would Max follow, or even Mercedes? Would Mercedes make a grab for Adrian Newey in the hope that they would be able to grab Max from there as well? So it certainly leaves Red Bull vulnerable, I think, at the moment, and in a difficult situation. So we'll have to see how that plays out. But the ultimate question is, does it hurt Red Bull significantly? And it'd be nice for you guys to let me know what you think in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, give me a thumbs up. Please feel free to subscribe. It really helps the channel. And I look forward to seeing you on the next one.